Okay, and we're back. Welcome back to the second part of Once Upon a Game, where we unravel a person's sanity in a game called Lovecraftesque, which is about cosmic horror. We're looking at a game. We're looking at a story revolving around Cold War era remote Alaska at Forward Listening Base Lima. And we're looking at the story through the lens of a Lieutenant Nadine Crow, who is a U.S. Army communications officer. Um, and we're slowly starting to see that something is strange happening at the base. So,
Yes.
um, I was the narrator last time. Oh, and the game's called Lovecraftesque, and it's a GMless, prepless story slash horror game in the model of Lovecraft fiction. Um, so we are looking through basically what Lovecraft fiction means is there's one kind of character, and they kind of just descend into madness. So that's very much what will happen here. Last turn, I was the sort of narrator slash GM, and my friend Paul here was playing as the witness slash main character, Lieutenant Nadine, and now we're switching back to um, me being the witness and Paul being the narrator.
Yes. So, we come back, um, and uh, you're like uh, Nadine, Lieutenant Nadine. We'll refer to her as you for just stuff in my head reasons. Uh, uh, you're like walking through like the snow. Um,
Okay.
Because you're heading to like repair a cable that came loose from one antenna. Like not the
Sure. So we're like outside the base.
yeah. So you're outside the base. Um, so you're trekking through the snow. With you is Buck.
Oh, of course.
Because he's an asshole, so we're gonna send them with
Sure.
Nadine
So
every
I
time.
imagine I imagine them carrying like one of those like spools of cable. You know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
radio
So
cable.
like uh saying you have to like carry like and it's this huge spool, right?
Yeah.
So you have to like carry that thing on your back. And Buck has like the repair equipment, like the tools and stuff like that,
Sure.
which is a much smaller pack.
Sure. So
Uh,
I ask Buck what knocked out the radio antenna? Is this normal?
um, he doesn't answer whether it's normal or not, but he says it's probably some animal or something.
Mm. So
Being like really vague about it.
yeah. She asks so like what kind of animals up here? Bears?
It's like, yeah, bears, big birds, moose, like you call it.
Cool. So yeah, how long have you been here? How long have you been stationed at listening post Lima?
He he like just reaches over this crest and like looks in the distance,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Oh yeah.
like wistfully,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then kind of looks back at you with like this serious look and is like, "Come on," uh, and you like points and like it's right over there, and you get to actually let's change it a little bit. Like you get to the big dish,
Okay.
that you like suddenly see like you
The
had
one in
no
the
idea
crater?
coming up on that. Yeah, the one in the crater.
Okay. Okay. Oh, so we're hitting like the lip of the crater?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay, cool.
Um, and
What does the rocks in the surrounding kind of look like in the crater?
so the rocks look. I mean, they look normal enough. Everything is like covered in snow, so it's kind of
Oh
rough to
yeah. I
tell.
mean that makes perfect sense.
Uh,
Yeah, sure.
One of the sides has like these iron rungs in them, where you can climb down, and which you're gonna do. Like you're heading towards these iron rungs where you can climb,
yeah, totally.
get under the dish, which is where you're bringing the cable. And yeah, but other than that, it just looks like a satellite dish in a crater. Like it's super evil James Bond stuff.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, that's exactly, yeah. So, I guess...
Maybe you're thinking, like, Jesus, this is like James Bond movie shit.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think, is there anything special about this, this satellite dish? Does it look like it's, like, top secret? Like, is it using, like, different technology I may not have seen? Like, does it look like a normal dish? Do I see any visible signs of damage to any piece?
So the antennae piece seems to be mostly intact.
Okay, mostly. Okay.
Mostly intact. As I mean, you're getting down and it's like there's a cable loose and it's like really obvious to you. So you set off to repairing the cable. And like some of this hardware stuff you don't really get. Like you can work the knobs, like that's what you were trained for. But this hardware is just you don't get it all. But he points you like you plug it there and you have to pull this old piece out and put this new piece in. And you just kind of follow it, but you have no idea if what you're doing is actually right or what. But you just do what he says. And you follow it. But on your way out, you stumble on what you first think is a rock, but you look back at it, and it's like underneath this disc, so it's like really, really dark. Yeah. But you pick it out, and it's this bone, or like ivory.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Mask.
An ivory what?
A mask.
Oh, a mask.
That goes over the face. That seems to be like some Inuit style thing. You've read some of this in like basic training, but like you got taught.
Yeah, it's like an Inuit mask. Okay.
But like notably, this one's eyes are like non-existent. Like it has no eye holes.
I think I'd call out to Robbie. I'd be like, hey, what's this here? And I hold it. I don't think I will feel any, like, I don't know. What do I feel like when I hold it? Because I don't feel like I would feel like spooky or scared holding it unless something was changing about the environment.
Yeah. The environment doesn't change, but Robbie is like first like kind of offhand glances towards what you're holding, and it's like he's like, she picked up some crazy lady thing. How these women are like whatever. And he's like,
oh, you're gonna wear that to bed with me tonight?
And then he's like, no, put it down. Like he rushes to you, like put that shit down.
Oh, and all right, I like drop it and I back up, like, hands up, like, oh, what, why, what?
He looks in your face and specifically your eyes, as if he's checking for something.
So he's like close to me?
Yeah, and he gets like real up close to you, like way closer than.
So I think
studying your eyeballs.
I think I try to like back up away, so I think it's trying to like try to kiss me or something like that. Like for the last like stop for the last time I'm married,
Yeah.
So what does she do?
No, it's not that. It's not that. Okay. He says, Jimmy found the same thing.
Oh, and then I clamor about, was he the guy in the tent? Back at Listening Post Zulu?
Buck seems like really reluctant to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And like he admits that yes, that's Jimmy, but then he like catches himself that he's talking about it, and he's like not supposed to talk about it or something like that, and he like completely shuts down and starts ordering you around of like, all right, we're going up, we did our job, we need to go again.
Okay, like dismisses it. Okay. I think I think Nadine when Robbie's not looking, I think Nadine takes the mask and puts it in her pack on the way back.
All right. So that's the clue, is the eyeless mask.
Yes. Of ivory.
Of ivory.
Mmm.
And yeah, let me come up with some leap to conclusion.
Yeah, time to jump. Oh, let's do. Can we do the trait first?
Sure.
I think it would be curious
Yeah.
for taking it. I'm gonna start looking at the list for some sort of clue that I want to use.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
I don't think there's anything stopping this from happening the way I want it to.
Okay.
So I think I want to do a dream sequence, like a dream scene.
Ooh,
So it's the night when she comes back with like with the mask near her.
Yeah. And I've because Robbie was so paranoid about it, I've like kept that shit hidden.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like there's something going on that no one wants to talk about.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna share it with everyone because they're gonna like take it away from me or like tell me I can't do it, and nobody tells me I can't do something.
So I'm thinking in her dream, they're in a they being Nadine is in some sort of underground bunker.
Okay.
And in the bunker, she hears her husband. So I imagine this bunker is a bunker she's unfamiliar with, but in the dream she kind of feels like she's familiar in it.
Okay.
And she hears her husband calling. And like she's surrounded by like just tons and tons of cables. Black, very slick cables. Imagine just like bands and bands of cables that seem to just kind of go from the ceiling into the walls and then back through the walls. Just kind of like almost like all of the ceiling and floor and walls are kind of just adorned with these like black slick cables that are like banded together, like like super like thick like cable, like kind of like the radio cables that they were using. Kind of like, or like power cables, like power lines, like that kind of thick. Like 2 or 3 fingers thick cable. And she sees a couple terminals around in this bunker, and then there's like a door that's shut except for like a little window, kind of like kind of like it's like a blast bunker with just like like a little tiny like window like about at her height of her head.
Okay. Slit, yeah.
Yeah, and
so she'll go for the slit, like the bunker and the cables and stuff. Like even though to us it's weird, in the dream it feels familiar. So you kind of dismiss the familiar things and go for the things that are strange.
So, I was gonna say is that in the bunker there's like this hum of like electricity and power, and sort of like computer, the large tape drives that they kind of use that are spinning, and that sort of like kind of like humdrum noise, that droning buzz. But then she keeps hearing her husband's voice saying like, Nadie, like, where are you? Like, I miss you. And it's coming from behind that door.
So then she'll like run for that door.
Yeah.
She wants to be with Mark so bad.
Yeah. She runs for the door, and she sees the back of her husband. And the husband turns and looks at her, and it's her husband wearing the eyeless mask of ivory.
Oh.
And then she wakes up in the middle of the night, in her what do you call it? In her kind of like in the bunks, right? I guess they don't have a female only bunk. I assume they all sleep together because there's like it's a small place, and they probably only have like
I think
two.
It's small enough to just make it all unisex.
Yeah, so they probably only have like.
They try to like rig up a sheet or something if for whatever reason, but it's not built for privacy.
So she wakes up.
So she wakes up and she's like immediately wants to check the mask, because Mark was telling me something about this mask.
Yeah. She immediately looks for like the mask where she hid it in her bags and stuff nearby, and she can't find it. In the meantime, she hears like the battering of like heavy winds, existing like outside the structure, and kind of like rattling the cables and any sort of like blankets and stuff outside, like the whistling, howling wind.
She like in a frenzy, like turns up everything she has, and like maybe accidentally wakes up some of the other people there.
Yeah, totally. So I think Buck probably sleeps underneath her, like she's in in the lower bunk, and he's like, "What in tarnation are you doing, Nate? Like Nadine, like go back to bed." Like she's if the CO catches you moving around or whatever, it's like, you want to do PT, like physical.
She's like collecting herself a bit, and it's like, I think I lost something. And just keeps looking.
And Robbie just kind of like rolls over so his back's facing her, and says just find it in the morning. God damn. It's like, it's already hard enough to sleep with this wind going on.
Nadine is like considering going outside.
Yeah, so I think the door looking outside kind of mirrors sort of like the door in the dream. Like it is a very similar, like strong, like solid door with a little like hatch window in the front, and through like the shadows and the wind and stuff, she sees a solid, like a male looking figure of just like kind of like shadow, kind of just like through like the blowing of the like the snow, like the flurries and stuff that are just like flying by, and like all of like the sheets and cables moving. It gives the appearance that there's a figure standing cloaked in shadow, like right at the edge of her vision, right before it gets to like just be pure dark.
So this time maybe more cautiously than straight running for it. She goes to it, and she's like in her like pajamas or whatever, and like naked feet and stuff like that, and like approaching this door, and there's like this tiny slit that she can walk through, and she's like straining to see anything through it because it's so dark and windy and stuff, and there's all this stuff moving outside anyway.
So
eventually she'll get to it, and she's like, like part of her is like, did Mark come for me? And then she dismisses it as like, this is like crazy talk. Of course he wouldn't be here. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Oh yeah, it doesn't look like it doesn't look like Mark, but yeah, that's what she's thinking. Because it looks like a
Mm-hmm.
male figure. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what she's thinking.
No, like the figure isn't moving. It just is staying. It's like standing still in the cold, like just like stoically. Um, it's definitely the shape of just a male figure, like no types of like clothing draped around or anything like that. It's like definitely the shape of a male.
Okay. So then, uh, she's like, "Holy shit! There's someone on a military base."
Yeah.
Just standing there, and they're not supposed to be there. So then like she like snaps out of this melancholy about missing her husband and having a weird dream about him. And
Totally.
it's like, holy shit, there's someone on the base, and starts like yelling and waking everyone up.
Okay. They turn on the lights, and
Yeah.
and I guess like some other like unnamed guys and stuff, kind of like, I don't know. Does Nadine go with the unnamed party? That like is like, what the fuck? And they're like, yeah, there's someone out there. Like confirming
Yeah,
her.
she's like,
And
yeah, no, there's someone out there. I saw him.
oh shit. And they're like shit, like they're getting like their boots on or
Yeah,
whatever.
and they're all like
they're like
hustling. They get
hopping, yeah, like,
their
you know what I
gear
mean,
on,
like
but
jumping around on one foot, like trying to get their boot on, like grabbing their coats.
yeah.
And,
Yeah,
like,
but they're
yeah.
in like Alaska at night,
Yeah.
like they need to get suited up before they go out there.
Yeah, and they go out there and they find so does Nadine join them?
Yeah, yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
They
Like
go out
she'll
there.
probably be like the first one.
They
She's
see what's the guy's name that lost his eyes, is just like standing out,
Jimmy.
like, yeah, Jimmy. They see Jimmy just like standing like in nothing but his underwear, just like
Oh, shit.
looking out, like just like in the distance, naked.
Does he wear his bandages?
Yeah, he's wearing his bandages, so he's blind. So like he clearly can't see anything, but he's out there just staring at something,
So at first
and
she's
there's
like,
nothing out there.
"Jimmy, are you okay? Jimmy, are you okay?"
He doesn't
Like, maybe
respond.
check him a bit. And then she looks at where his head is kind of pointing, and like scans what he's looking at, even though it sounds absurd.
Mm-hmm.
She's still like, he must be looking at something, because it's like just this human impulse, right? Like
Totally.
it's facing away. So
But
what's
no, there's nothing. She doesn't see anything out there.
it's crazy.
I'm trying to think of how to actually wrap in the clue.
Right. Well,
I think the clue. I think finally when they're like, "What the fuck, Christ, Jimmy, get the fuck back to like back to the med station," and like they take him back there and stuff, but he seems to be mumbling something, and he seems to be mumbling something about ask her, she's seen it too, she's seen it, and I think that would be the scene. So I don't know what you would call it, but like an ominous forecast.
I mean, I would call the clue insane babbling.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Jimmy's insane babbling.
All right.
I think and I think the scene would could the scene end with her getting back to bed with the mask being in her bag?
Oh.
Like it was there. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't, like it wasn't trying to hide. Like it's just there.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
So she still has a mask.
Yeah. Nice. That was fun. That was kind of a long scene, but that was really cool.
Yeah. All right. So let's come up with some crack pottery, and then
Yeah, totally. Okay.
Uh,
All right, you ready?
yeah. Right.
Okay. So
So
now this is the last scene of part 1.
the last scene of part 1. This is still like the same night. Like she found her mask.
Okay.
It's like really windy and stuff outside. But Nadine
Oh,
has
wait, can I stop you real
managed.
quick? We didn't come up with a trait.
Oh, um, do we need to?
No.
Is I feel like nothing really
Yeah. I kind of feel like we're fine. Okay.
added to it there.
So, same night.
Same night, uh, Nadine actually talked Captain Tanner into letting her and like Buck, because we have to send Buck with her
Of course.
for the end of Act 1. Go out into the night and go look for the thing that like lured Jimmy out of bed. There's like something weird going on, and she just like wants to check it out. She wants to be safe, and she like worded it of like, we want it to be safe
Sure,
for
sure.
base, and like nothing of that metaphysical stuff of like, oh, I dreamt about a thing.
Okay, sure.
So they're like trudging into the night again, like full suited up.
Oh yeah, with like powered flashlights and stuff like that.
Powered flashlights.
Snowshoes.
You have snowshoes on. You have like you have some weapons on because you're going out in the night.
Yeah, absolutely.
After a thing that's unknown, so they were like, bring your rifle. And you're like trudging through the snow with Buck. Like you asked if someone to go with, and he just immediately sent Buck with you. Visibility is poor because there's a lot of snow blowing everywhere. The talking to Buck is maybe it's a blessing. It's really hard because of the wind just howling around you. So he can't talk all that much to you either. And
Yeah, you practically have to scream to like say anything.
Yeah, so like for Buck, he has his limits of making like off-color comments. Like,
yeah, totally.
It's a little bit too much for him. Plus, he's like really grumpy that he got woken up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So like as a small blessing, he's keeping quiet, and he's behind you.
Oh, okay, I'm leading. Okay.
You're leading, and you're leading in the way that Jimmy was pointing. He was gazing at, which is also, you remember, the way to the dish.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
I point that out to Robbie, and I mentioned that he's pointing like. I think and she calls out like, I think Jimmy might be pointing to the dish, like trying to like scream in a very like concise manner over the wind.
Yeah. And he's like, shielding his eyes against like
the
snow blowing, and he just like pointing you like just go, like finish your stupid mission, and then we can go back. I don't want to be here. Like he's not saying a word, but like it's his body language is like, get this over with. I'm like really pissed about having to.
So I think they make it far enough, where like they're far enough away from camp, but I think the storm and stuff is getting worse, and to the point where I think Nadine would recommend that they like, we have to like get down and like shelter. Like we can't go any further.
All right. So
Do they press on or?
Robbie comes like real close to your ear and is like yelling of like, the dish is closer than the base. It's like 5 more minutes, and then we can hide under the dish.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. And
Uh,
all right. I think Nadine is looking on the lookout for where the crater is, um, and trying to find like any sort of like the metal poles to get down once she gets close enough to it.
mhm. Um. So you get to the dish. Buck actually like pushes past you and starts climbing down. And you can go after.
Yeah,
But
I follow
like
suit.
right before your head pokes under the dish, you see like it's like a cloud is moving but in the wrong direction.
Ooh. Yeah, like away from the wind.
Like away from the wind, like it doesn't follow any of the other clouds, but it's hard to distinguish any shape because it's a cloud at night.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like a
Uh,
rolling wave of shadow.
yeah. Um, and like you look again and it's like, did I see that? And Buck is yelling at you, get down, get down. It's being really distracting.
Sure. Um I think I think Nadine pulls out her gun and like points it in the direction of where she saw the cloud, like trying to aim at something. Like
All right.
kind of ignoring Robbie's advice. Like not shooting, but just like, kind of like scout, like, you know what I mean? Like pointing ready to.
Yeah. So you hear Buck like fumbling with his gun. Like, what the fuck is going on? Nadine, talk to me. What are you seeing? Get down here so we can like set up something. What are you doing? Like he's just yelling at you.
And
But
Nadine screams
to
back
get
that
there,
there's something out there.
there's something out there. But you don't see it anymore.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm like, on like lookout for it.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
so like I guess like nothing. If I don't see anything in a while, then like I would probably go return to Robbie, be like, I don't know what I saw, but like there's something out there,
yeah. So
like a restless cloud that like was moving at us.
yeah. Um. So you're holding up with Robbie like under the dish. Like you get towards the middle where like the machinery is, like the sensory machinery and stuff.
Sure.
And where you hooked up the cable. Uh, and like he just kind of sits against it with his back. He still has his gun like out and stuff because you
Yeah.
pulled your gun, so he's like keeping it at the ready.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like having it in his lap and he's sitting down. And it's like, well, you're on watch. Wake me when this storm uh, lets up.
She
And like it's like trying to like.
yeah. She begrudgingly accepts, but like but Nadine kind of mutters under her breath, thinking, that's good because I wouldn't be able to sleep anyways. I'm so cold, and I've never been so cold and so alert in my entire life. She feels like she just encountered, or like she felt like she faced like almost certain death in a way, like that feeling of like I don't know what,
Mm,
like that life or like fight or flight sort of adrenaline from
yeah.
like not being unsure of what's happening. It's still like coursing through her. Um, and so she I guess then kind of like sets up in a way that she can stay up and kind of look over the crater's basin and kind of up above it.
Oh, so you climb back up.
No, no,
Sure.
no. Like I'm still underneath the radio tower thing in
Okay.
the crater.
Okay.
Was the cloud in the
Uh,
crater, or was it like outside?
it was over the crater.
Okay, it was over the crater.
Uh,
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that's what I thought.
yeah. Um, and you think it was going towards those Denali caves that you've seen on the map.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay.
Thinking about it and like taking up your position and you're watching this and you have nothing really to do except be on watch. Yeah,
Okay. Um.
but that's a clue and that's a scene.
Sure. Yeah. What do you call it?
Like
The
I, I,
animate
I,
fog.
yeah, shadow in the sky.
Yeah. Nice. I think Nadine might have earned scared as a trait.
Really?
Or I don't know, that might have been fleeting. Now I gotta think of Oh, so that, by the way, ends part 1 for Lovecraftesque. So now we move on to part 2, which part 2 of the game is where we're still going to uncover clues, but the clues are more blatant now. As well as the witness can be threatened, like physically threatened.
Yeah.
So I'm going to look through some of the clues here. Um, yeah. Okay. So the scene that I want to begin with is that it's the following morning.
Okay.
Yeah, like Nick in chat mentions it. It's not wholly afraid, but perturbed and feeling a lingering, albeit faint sense of dread. Is exactly how she feels right now. So she didn't sleep at all, like even during her time.
They're still under the dish.
Yeah, so it's morning and they're packing up and then going underneath the dish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing they see with light comes up is that there's a third set of footprints in the snow.
Is this like outside or they?
No, this is this is in the crater, leading
Right.
out of the crater.
Okay.
It seems to be like that the footprint started somewhere near them, and left the crater, in the direction of Mount Denali.
And Nadine didn't sleep at all.
Yeah, but like I she might have like passed out or like in a
Yeah.
sort of like
So she's like, holy shit! Did I just like straight up pass out?
yeah, exactly.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, like
And she's like feeling really guilty about, that she was supposed to be on guard and she left her post by falling asleep, right?
Mhm.
It's shameful to her.
So
Even though Buck doesn't know, probably.
yeah, no, Buck doesn't know, and so Robbie, I think immediately thinks like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and she's
why
like,
are these snowshoe prints in here?
she, so Nadine is like pointing to it and is like, yeah, that's fucked up, right?
So it's
And
like you have no
really
idea.
tries to not talk about, maybe she fell asleep. Like she gets, and she's like, no, I was up all night. But
Then
maybe
what was
a bit
it?
hesitant.
Then if you were up all night, Nadine, you would have saw it. So tell me, what did you see?
And she talks about the shape in the sky.
Sure, the cloud.
The night before of like that flew over, and that's why she like drew her gun. She saw a thing, and it wasn't. it wasn't just some bird or something. It was something else.
Yeah, I think Robbie mentions that the Inuits have a name for that, um,
Right.
and they call it taktuki, like
Okay.
that which, and they said that they're restless spirits from a frozen lake that drown underneath the lake. I won't. That's not the clue, but that's just
Okay. Background information.
yeah. Back, and but like that doesn't explain the footprints, but that's just like what the mist clouds are. That's what they say. Um, of course, Robbie follows up saying something about how it's also a strange it's a weather pattern that happens when you're in like high, something about Alaska, high pressure altitude. Wind gets rolled around, and so clouds,
And she's like, she
you know
gets
what I
like
mean?
really pissy. Is like, I know what the aurora looks like, Robbie.
Yeah,
Don't give
yeah,
me that
right. You know what I
shit.
mean? Like whatever the uh, meteorological phenomena it is that causes that. But like,
Uh, but she asks like, she's curious. Have you seen this lake?
he mentions a few times. He says Jimmy showed it to him one time. Back when Robbie uh, just started, like when he was about as much of a tenderfoot here at forward base Lima as you are. Um,
Do you know where it is?
yeah, let me lead you to it. And he takes, and it's actually at. I think then Robbie would be like, it's in the same paths as these footprints. So I mean, if you got your gun ready, we can get two birds with one stone. Investigate the footprints, and you'll probably see this lake.
And she just, yeah, she like looks back at the base,
Mm-hmm.
and then she's like, all right, let's go. Because she wants to find out what's calling her.
Yeah, totally. Um, so, um, I think they crest a ridge, right? And they see they see something definitely radiantly blue underneath a cover of low hanging fog clouds, like a
There.
very pristine clear blue lake
Mhm.
from their distance, but like hanging right above it is just like this rolling patchy mist,
Yeah.
like a gray mist. Um,
Is it like big?
yeah, yeah, no, the lake is enormous. Um, it's, I mean, I have no idea how it can come up with a size right now, but it's
True.
smaller than a Great
It's
Lake,
big.
right? But yeah, like
Can she be
you can
like,
see the other side of it, right? You can see the other side of it, but
yeah,
it's bigger, it's less than a Great Lake, but also larger than like a hockey rink. You know what I mean? Like it's a
yeah,
decent lake. When you think of a
yeah.
lake, it's a fair lake. So,
Uh,
um,
yeah, can she be like this was never on the map before? Like I didn't see this, or is it so like
well, it's not called Taktuk on the lake. It's probably called something like uh,
okay,
it's called T Point. It's called Tango Point.
Tango Point. All right.
Um,
And so she's like, like didn't make the association maybe.
yeah.
It's like it's a
Um,
Tango Point.
I think Robbie mentions that Tango Point has some sort of like electronic interference to it that they are never that they try to avoid T Point as much as possible because of it messes with their electronics and their readings of the Russians.
Okay.
So that's why they usually like marked it just like that, so they know like it's you know where like
So she's
static
like,
and
all
things
right,
are.
the footprints are this way. So
Yeah, and so like you see the footprints leading down in like onto the lake.
yeah.
So I guess Robbie kind of shrugs and it's like I guess we should go. Like follow him.
All right. So then she gets they get kind of close to the lake.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, you said Jimmy brought you here. Was that before? And like she motions like kind of vaguely to her eyes.
Oh, he looks at you like quizzically. He's like, "What are you talking? No, hell no. Like he was fine. That he got hurt from an accident in the comms room. No, that was recent. He was that was a few days before you got here.
What what accident? And she's like
Robbie,
wants to talk about Jimmy now,
yeah, but
not
like
like
but Robbie kind of like still closes her off. He's like, listen, like I don't want to talk about it. Jimmy's a good guy, right?
yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that.
She's like, why do you say that? Why wouldn't he be a good guy?
Robbie just advises her to drop it, and that he won't be saying any more about it.
All right.
You know. Um.
Gotta uncover the mysteries.
So I think.
So she like
well,
she
no.
tries a couple of times, but then it's like presses on of like
Well,
whatever.
no. Well,
Check out
no.
this
This is
thing.
what it is. So this is what happens. So
Okay.
I think Robbie and yeah, and Nadine, they're like so they're like on the lake now, right? Like
Okay.
talking to each other. And you just see not like you can't see through the ice, but the ice is just like this very like cerulean blue, right? Like a very vivid blue that you can kind of really only get in like glacial lakes.
Yeah.
Just like super pristine, and it's just like you could tell that this is like hundreds of feet thick. Just it's not going anywhere. But like with all these mists and fog things going on, like over them, they get kind of close to each other, and they're like yelling, like listen, and Robbie like kind of like pushes Nadine on the ice, be like, I'm not telling you any more about Jimmy, right? And then he like turns around, and about 20 feet away, he just says, "Oh shit!" And 20 feet away from them is the corpse of Jimmy, naked, with crazy carvings all over his skin. They look like like some sort of like intricate pattern that was like carved from a knife, but no blood. So that's
Does he wear his bandages?
no, there's no bandage, but he's laying face down.
So she's like curious about that thing because like everyone's trying to cover it up. So he like wants to look at his face.
Oh, so she goes to like turn him over.
Yeah.
Um. Okay. I guess his eyeballs are just missing.
Damn.
And he has a face, like an expression of just pure terror. Like he's been screaming.
Jesus. All right. They're in his face.
Jimmy, dead on the ice of Taktuk.
Yeah.
So with
Nadine probably knows like at least like Russian and like Cyrillic script. Like it's not English or Cyrillic.
No, this is clearly in a pattern or a language of something that she's never seen before.
All right.
In an alphabet that she's never seen.
Yeah.
The best I think they would say as a narrator, it looks to be like Proto-Inuit. Like
Okay.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. I mean, having read Lovecraft, like
Yeah, exactly, right?
like that makes sense. Like he's all about proto civilizations, right?
Totally, right? Exactly. So,
All right.
good scene.
So good scene.
If you want, so
Is this the end? Because you're the narrator, right?
yeah, so I'm the narrator. No, so we can have at the part 2 scene, we can have up to 2 more scenes before we begin the final part 3 part. So, but it's also 10:56 now. If you want,
Yeah.
if you want to start a scene, how about we take a quick break now?
All right.
Or let's figure out if we want to add a trait or something like that right now. And then
Okay.
otherwise, then we'll take our break. So,
All right.
do you think there was a trait you wanted to add to Nadine right now?
I think maybe we can change scared to horrified, but other than that, I don't know.
I'll just do terrified. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But I think we can try to lead into Act 3 at some point here.
Yeah. I think that's up. There's rules for that I have to look at.
Ah, okay.
So
All
we'll
right.
do that over break. So break time.
All right.
We'll see you guys in 5 minutes.